Even though you're younger than me, I've always thought of you as like one of my greatest role models. She's gone. They're off for their honeymoon and then down to Texas, and who knows when we're gonna see them next. Like,
Must have been when, because Jessa came in to see me probably for the first time.
Oh yeah, because you were born right there in our room.
Best friends right there.
Throughout the years, my mom and I, like, we've always talked. It's like best friends. I mean, I've never felt like, in a sense, that she was any bit older than me.
Jess and Ginger were only 13 months apart, so they were very close, and they just grew up almost like twins.
Climb trees together, we would ride bikes together.
Ginger was very compliant. I mean, if I even had to say, don't do that, you think she was gonna cry.
Pretty soon she got smart and stopped going along with the bad ideas, started guiding me in the right direction.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's February 9th and we've got some updates today on a variety of different shows that we cover on this channel. We're going to start out with some Duggars. We'll be moving on to some Sister Wives, and we might include an Outdaughtered update because their show is also coming back, and we might have 2 doses of Duggars today. There's been so much going on with the Duggars. So let's start out first with the Duggars because that's why you're here. Jessa and Ginger are like best friends, and they love each other, and they love to remind everyone that they're best friends on Instagram. Now, this isn't a big deal. There's always people that have close friendships that love to send messages to their friends. These two are sisters. They're 13 months apart, and they have grown up sort of inseparably over the years. Ginger is currently in California away from her family while her husband attends a college. Not even a college, it's a seminary. It's a messed up seminary. We'll get to that in another video. Jeremy is studying his master's of seminary at a church called Grace Community Church, which has been in the news a lot for defying requirements in the state of California. You know, just the basics, not believing in what's going on in the world, denying certain aspects of the world, you know, normal stuff. Jeremy spends most of his time gallivanting around. He was recently out with his pastor, golfing, maskless, obviously. And while he's out gallivanting, Miss Ginger is stuck at home by herself with her 2 kids. There's been a lot in the news recently, rumors that she's exhausted, that they might be hiring a nanny because, you know, Jeremy can't help at home because that's not his job. Not only that, but his church kind of teaches that the woman's job is literally at home and that she should really disavow the feminist movement. I'm not kidding. It's literally on their website. Okay, so Ginger has been sharing some photos. She loves to share photos of her pictures of when she was like a kid. No Duggar shares more photos of themselves as a child than Ginger. It's kind of funny if you think about it. You know, she was on a show, so you never know, maybe she's accessing the different, I don't know, maybe the Duggars have like a whole archive of digital images. I'm not really clear about this, but yesterday she shared a photo of her siblings, and it's pretty clear she was letting people know who she cares about and indirectly, subtly throwing shade at her sister Jill. So here's what she shared on Instagram. Shared a photo of her with her hair up, like twisted up, which she said something about like how everyone should have their hair like this, or should she go back to having her hair like this? And then she shared a photo of her sister Jessa, which she put in the caption like bestie, right? And then she shared a photo of her mom because she literally is obsessed with her mom. Ginger and her mom are obsessed with each other. Like, I'm convinced that Miss Michelle loves Ginger to an extent more than the other daughters. And I don't know what it is about Ginger specifically. Maybe it's her servant's heart. I don't know.
Throughout the years, my mom and I, like, we've always talked. It's like best friends. I mean, I've never felt like, in a sense, that she was any bit older than me.
Ginger is Ginger. When she was little, she was just the same kind of personality she is now, just happy, joyful. Ginger was very compliant. I mean, if I even had to say, don't do that. Do you think she was gonna cry?
But Jinger and Michelle have this relationship, and so she shares this photo of her and her mom, and then she shared a photo of her and her brothers, Joseph and Josiah, who are just right underneath her in terms of age. She didn't share anyone above her, so she didn't share John or Josh or Jana or Jill. But growing up, they did sort of all live within the same age group. Jill was pretty close to Jana and John, so maybe they just weren't very close growing up. But I think anytime that Jinger has an opportunity to show photos from her life, it never includes Jill, like ever. And then Jessa responds on her Instagram basically like, "Oh, I miss you, bestie." Normal families, some of you will be like, "Katie, but you're reaching." I know. But here's the thing. Last week, an article comes out, and it's from a source connected to the family, which basically says that Jinger has distanced herself from Jill and that she doesn't agree with what Jill's doing, and she doesn't like that Amy is constantly talking about her family and that they should just leave it alone, and that she's disappointed in Jill because she's standing by her husband, according to a source. I did speak to a source, and I've spoken to a couple sources, and what I was told about Jill is that she's distanced herself from almost all of her siblings, not just like one or two of them. She has really separated herself from those in the family that are not sort of ingrained, that are sticking in that ingrained attitude and really stuck in this cult, right? So she doesn't have a very close relationship anymore, even to Joy, which is sad because if you remember, Joy was her buddy growing up and she was in charge of helping to raise Joy. So with Jinger, she's not close. They don't really interact very much, but this relationship is in disrepair. Like it's never going to go back to the way it was. So Ginger's throwing subtle shade to Jill constantly, and some of you will be like, but she didn't include Jana. But it doesn't matter because she does include Jana in other photos. She just doesn't really include photos of her sister Jill. She doesn't interact on Jill's Instagram. Jill will try to interact with Jinger from time to time on Instagram, but it doesn't go both ways. In fact, the only sister that regularly comments on Jill's photos is Jessa. Now, Jill has commented on Jinger, and I don't think that Jill would say anything negative about Jinger. When I did ask about if there is a tension between Jinger and Jill, my source says that one, Jill has separated herself or distanced herself from all of her sisters, and two, that because of that separation and because of their belief systems being so differently, it's just healthier for Jill to not be associated with the toxicness of the belief system. She's really had to just separate herself from all of it. And Jill does a good job where she spends time with Derek's family. She just uploaded a video a couple days ago where she basically she and Derek talked openly about their love life. And some of you guys were like, it's great that she's talking about this. And I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Of course, they were repressed. Go ahead and talk. It's always just funny when you hear about it because it's the Duggars, right? It's the Duggars. Okay, then we have a second dose here because Jessa Seawald was actually spotted at a wedding this weekend. Okay, so Ginger's throwing shade at Jill, kind of, and Jessa was at a wedding over the weekend in Orlando, and she was spotted at the wedding, not wearing a mask, and the wedding had dancing and had masklessness, and nobody seemed to care. So apparently someone was friends of the people at the wedding, and they saw Jessa there. It took place in Orlando. The wedding was for a close friend of Ben's from growing up. So Ben Seawald's best childhood friend ended up getting married, and not only was Ben there, but his parents were there as well. The Seawalds, his parents, shared photos and images and videos of the wedding over the weekend. So his family was there, Jessa and Ben were there, not in attendance, were masks. When I shared the photo on Instagram, people in the area were upset. They were making comments about how it disappointed them to see that this was happening. Other people made mention about, does Jessa know about what's happening in Orlando? Probably in relation to the pride events that happen every year. I don't know why that would matter. That happens in almost every city. And then someone also was saying that there's literally no mask mandate in the state of Florida. And so because of that, they're not actually breaking any rules. But then that same person also admitted that they wish their governor wouldn't put in a mask mandate because then there would be less infections in their state. And they basically blamed the governor for all of this. So it's only recommended that they wear masks. It's not actually required. So technically they did not break any rules, but we know that many people in this world are getting COVID or have had COVID, and there's people that have passed away from COVID, and yet that doesn't matter to any of these people. And even Jeremy's own church that I was telling you about has been anti-mask, so much so that they held church services without any outside of the regulations in the state of California. They also defied those regulations and have not abided by social distancing or mask requirements in the state of California. The Supreme Court basically said that the state of California cannot ban indoor worship, so they're taking that as a win. But the pastor of Jeremy's own church has been basically denying the seriousness of this pandemic. So it should not surprise anyone why Jeremy and Jinger just literally don't care about the pandemic and were so nonchalant about her birth of their baby when they literally had a bunch of people in their house and nobody wore masks. Okay, so circling back, so much to talk about. Jinger throws shade. Jeremy attends a maskless church that breaks the rules, and Jessa attends a wedding without a mask. And Jinger and Jessa are best friends. All right, you guys, so tell me what your thoughts are about this completely random video in the comments below. Bye, guys.